Yo, what's up guys? Bill here, Classic Rock and Metal Reviews, the name of the channel. It's what we do. Today I got something cool. Well, I love it anyway. Hopefully you guys do, and if not, maybe you'll be inspired to check it out. It's a Black Sabbath bootleg called Shockwave over Texas. Here's what she looks like. At least the copy cover I own, because I don't own the original deal. It's very hard to find. We'll get into that sort of thing. I'm going to review the concert itself and why I love it so much. If you guys can hit like and subscribe before we get started. Of course, I'm obligated to say that. I don't know why, but anyway. So Black Sabbath, you know they're my favorite band. If you don't by now you do. When you talk about Sabbath bootlegs, and I'm mainly, like everyone probably already knows, I'm mainly just a Soundboard quality collector at this point. Used to do the audience things years ago when you didn't have much choice, and now you do. Decent amount of soundboards are now out there. So, let's just work our way up briefly to the Never Say Die tour. Of course, you probably had a little bit of turmoil in the band started doing Sabotage tour. They decided they needed to sue their former management, get rights back to their music. That was a protracted court thing in '75. It was going on while they were recording Sabotage. But I think the band was probably sort of unified, at least as a band, dealing with that. Following year, Technical Ecstasy is recorded in Miami, so the band's a little distracted. And I think pretty much everyone admits that Tony Iommi was pretty much left at the helm for, the writing, the producing, and, trying to take the band in a little different direction sound-wise, which didn't necessarily rub everyone the right way, especially Ozzy. Nevertheless, they do that album and tour, and I love that album. Then you get the time off between Ecstasy and Never Say Die, which is when wheels start to come off a little bit. Ozzy's dismissed from the band or quits. Whose version do you even really believe? Who really cares? He's out of the band for a little while. You got Dave Walker, formerly of Savoy Brown and Fleetwood Mac. Makes it a sort of appearance, I guess, with the band on Look Here BBC program. So obviously he had joined the band late '77. It's January of '78 that he's on that TV show. They do Junior's Eyes, which would be on the Never Say Die album. Nevertheless, Ozzy comes back into the fold early '78. Apparently, nothing gets done for about 3 months while Ozzy is dealing with his father passing. Shows back up in the studio with the band. Things are tense. They plow ahead. They're in Toronto to record Never Say Die. It's very cold. They hate the sound of the studio. Apparently tear the hell out of it trying to get the sound right. They're never happy with the sound in the end anyway. And, I really got to say, Never Say Die was the first album I ever got by Sabbath. I just love the song Never Say Die on Speak of the Devil, which was sort of my on-ramp to Black Sabbath. So I went for that album first. Loved side one, had it on cassette, so didn't really get into side two at all. I'd play it once in a while, but it was mostly side one and then rewind those first 4 songs. But nevertheless, the whole band just seems to look back on that album with disdain. They don't like it. I don't get it. A lot of people love that album. I love that album. I have to admit, even though I only liked half the album, I wouldn't have put it in my top, 3 or 4 albums by Sabbath necessarily for years, up until I got this bootleg. And we'll get into why when I go down the set list. But, I always just thought the first half of it was great. And then when I started getting into the second half of it about 15 years ago, really, there's one song on there that sucks, and the whole side 2 is great too. It's a great album. I hear a lot of people say, it's not my favorite album, but it's the one I listen to more than any other album. Maybe you just got to admit that it's your favorite album. Who cares what people think? That's kind of where I was. Once I got this bootleg, it got me listening to the album more. There's only a couple songs on here from the Never Say Die album, but it got me listening to Never Say Die, all the way through finally, a couple more times, and I was like, what the hell was I thinking? This is phenomenal. So, I'm not going to say it's my favorite Sabbath album, but it probably is. It's the one I've been playing the most for 15 years. Now, favorite versus best, they're two different things. I think the best is probably the first one, and probably Paranoid right behind it. I think my favorite album is actually Volume 4, but I'm going to say Never Say Die is probably my second favorite album. So there. So let's get into the whole bootleg itself. Never Say Die Tour has 3 Soundboard bootlegs. I got them all right here. We got one from ripped off the Never Say Die video, recorded in May in London, Hammersmith. And this one's called Welcome to the Electric Funeral. Like I said, it's just a rip from the video as far as I can tell, same set list. You do get Never Say Die on there as far as songs from that album. That's about it. Then you got something from Pittsburgh. I think that's September 2nd. Lost and Found label put this one out years ago. This is not the exact version of it. This is actually just a copy. This is what so just a CDR of that bad boy, but got the cover. Got this at a record shop, so that's what they sell. $10 or what have you. Now I did find an updated one a few years ago. This is awesome if you could find this one. Pittsburgh 76-78. It's got a complete show from Pittsburgh and 76 Soundboard. The same show from 78 as this guy. It sounds a little better than that one though. This is the way to go if you want your Pittsburgh 76 and 78 shows. It's also got the British Biscuit, which is something that was floating out there before the complete 78 show was out there. It was 4 songs from the 76 show, 4 songs from the 78 show. So what a nice third disc to put in there. I really should do a review of this guy. But 3 CDs, and it's just called The Ultimate Edition, Pittsburgh 76-78. Awesomeness there. And then, which brings us to the third and final Soundboard bootleg from the tour, Shockwave over Texas. Killer, in my opinion. The sound is a little overwhelming to the recorder. Now, it sounds like it's definitely Soundboard professional recording. Just little peaks a little too high in some spots. I think it almost adds to the power of the music, really. But it is a little overwhelming. I don't know if the band's going to be able to use that if they do a deluxe edition of Never Say Die. Just because I don't, as great as the new software is, I don't know if you can, lessen an overburdened player like a recorder. So anyway, unfortunately, well, we'll see. Maybe they can. Who knows? But the sound is crystal clear, perfect. All the instruments heard equally like they should be. I'd say that Iommi and Geezer sound great as always. Ward sounds great as always. The surprising thing here to me, now when I first got this bootleg, like I said, about 15 years ago, I was really expecting Ozzy to be sort of mailing it in. I mean, he's in the waning days of being in the band. The tour's almost over. I think it goes till the 11th. They have 2 more gigs, I think, after this show. So it's the last tour, almost the last gig of the tour. I was really expecting Ozzy to just be basically, like I said, phoning it in. Totally not true. I mean, it's kind of like the opposite. He's at the top of his game. He actually sounds better than most other bootlegs that I've heard throughout their career. And definitely as good as he's sounded since 74, 75. He's hitting high notes he hadn't hit since probably the Sabbath Bloody Sabbath tour. His performance is great. His frontman skills are just at their peak. He sounds like nothing is wrong with the band situation at all. So that really took me aback. So let's get on the set list a little bit. You got Symptom of the Universe to open it up. It kind of fades in. You don't get the full thing, but you get, I'd say, 85% of the song. Sounds awesome as always. It's always been one of my favorite Sabbath songs ever since the Speak of the Devil Was All I Had days. Snowblind, great version here. Sounds awesome. I like how Ozzy's calling the fans. This is something new for this tour. He's calling them his babies. I don't know. It just kind of smacks. I like that. It's just unique to this tour. So, War Pigs, another typical average version of that song. Sounds good. Then you get Never Say Die. Sounds killer. Yeah, Ozzy's struggling a little bit to hit those high notes, but does a pretty good job here, really. They do the little jam at the end where instead of the song just ending, they just do another minute of that sort of that jam that Iommi does during the verses. or during this like latter half of the song, he starts doing this little jam behind the scenes there during the verses. So they just extend the song and do that for another minute. Kind of cool. Then you get the little 10th anniversary speech as he does before introducing the song Black Sabbath. Sounds like another cool version here. And then the reason that the CD is named Shockwave Over Texas is you get the only Soundboard version recording live of Shockwave from Never Say Die album. That is just a gem, man. I mean, that's, you know, the first song on side 2, and you know, I remember liking the opening riff and then sort of bailing on it when I was a teenager. That song is freaking awesome. Great song, sounds cool live. A little hard to duplicate because there's a whole section there that does a little off-time jam, and you know, on the record you got Iommi playing it. Just have Geezer carrying that rhythm on here, so it doesn't sound quite as powerful, but the song's just so damn good. The version here is great. Like I said, the only live version on Soundboard quality out there. So that's the gem of this thing right here. Then you get a nice good version of Dirty Women. I think it might fade out towards the very, very end. Not even sure. I think it might be complete. Not 100% sure. But it sounds great. And that'll do it for this version of this concert, Shockwave Over Texas. This label was Aces High, 2007, so 15 years old, like I was saying. This one I cannot find anywhere. It's sold out on the Japan sites. I've been searching for it on eBay. I have it under my like search thing, so I haven't yet to receive a message that it's on there. I did see one on eBay there years ago, and it was maybe got up to $40-45. I should have just bought it because I haven't seen it since. So I just have my downloaded copy, the cover that I think I might have got this off iOffer. You ever hear that site? It's like an eBay, but for illegal shit, basically. But I did just find this one. I just got this one from Japan. It's like a CDR version of the show called Shocked Eyes. Took a chance. I hate buying CDRs and DVDRs, but it was only like $8 or $9. So this way I got something. Problem being, just this is why I avoid these damn things. I got a nice, it's not really new, but it hasn't been used that much, Sony CD player in my living room. And War Pig skipped for me, like skipped to where I had to fast forward to the next song. It wouldn't move forward. It passed 2.5 minutes. But it played fine in my car, which is usually where I'm going to have problems. So I have a feeling it would upload into iTunes fine. You do get the bonus track of Dave Walker singing Junior's Eyes, which is really cool. I love that version. I'm not 100% sure. I think if you go out and buy this, like I said, $8 or $9, can you really go wrong? Thing is, you're going to have to buy some more things, or the shipping's going to end up costing you more than the CD. But I would say the sound quality of the main concert's about the same as what I downloaded years ago. And the version of Dave Walker singing Junior's Eyes might be a hair under what I uploaded here off of YouTube, you know, a few years back. But pretty close. Overall, at least you get something, right? You can't find Shockwave Over Texas, the official original John, then go Shocked Eyes route. Do what you got to do to hear this. It's great. And Ozzy's performance is awesome. Like I said, I was not expecting that for being almost his last show with the band for, what, 20 years? All right, that'll do it, guys. Shockwave Over Texas, Black Sabbath. Highly recommended, mandatory boot. And if you guys can like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. All right, catch you later.